Hello and welcome to this CHTV special report. As many of you will know, Miles McCulloch, a pupil in Grecians East, has been receiving treatment over the last few months at the Royal Marsden Hospital. As a mark of their gratitude, staff and students have set about with an unprecedented degree of dedication and effort fundraising for the Royal Marsden, not just for Miles but also for the tens of thousands of other patients that the charity supports every year. Well, this evening, CHTV is privileged to be able to speak to some of the people at the forefront of the Miles for Miles initiative, which is now well on its way to raising nearly £3,000. Well, hello again. I'm now with the Grecians East Housemaster, Mr Walsh. So could you just tell us in brief how the Miles for Miles initiative works? Is there any driving force sort of bringing everything organisationally together?
Well, the driving force, as in all things to do with Grecians East, is Mrs Walsh, who has been some months going out for a regular run, and one day while she was out running by the in her normal route over to Sharpenhurst and mulling over the question of what we could try to do to mark the fact that one member of the house had been out of action, let's say, since Christmas, she came up with this plan that we might sort of celebrate Miles's likely recovery with a fundraiser to say thank you to the hospital where he'd been being looked after. And it seemed, I don't know if you know that Miles's father, Mr McCulloch, is a very big runner, and the time of the year, it coincided with the time of year when in Grecians East we really like to do a fundraising project anyway, because we like, normally in a normal year we like to have a project, an educational project, back an educational project, so that we can sort of say thank you as a house for the many benefits that we, i.e. you, have received. And this year it seemed more appropriate to try and, as I say, mark Miles's absence and his likely return by doing something on behalf of the Marsden Cancer Charity.
Well, with that in a sense answers my second question, because I was going to ask where the idea came from and how it was all sort of, formulated. But how many people have you got involved in that? How many people are running frequently?
We estimate that only about 6 people out of our 62 house members have not yet run a mile.
Goodness.
We're anticipating that all those 6 people will eventually give way to moral blackmail and find themselves having to do so. Many of whom actually are Miles's closest friends. So we hope that at some point, as the project unfolds, everyone will take part. The project's backed by not only by members of the house, but it's beginning to spread to other houses, including very significant Grecians West, and also by Miles's family, who put a link to our giving page on there in a mailing out to their friends. And we've had some considerable donations from friends of Mr and Mrs McCulloch.
That's very good to hear. I mean, notwithstanding the moral blackmail, have you been surprised by people's readiness to give up their time and come together?
Absolutely flabbergasted is the only way to put it. The energy has come, as I say, from an initial stimulus from us as house parents. The house has picked up the project and run with it. And lots of people, I think there are 2 aspects to it. I think one is that people are getting a really big buzz out of expressing their relief that all seems to be going well for Miles. And I think during a time when you're worrying about someone and you don't know what the outcome is likely to be, you don't have a chance to express that. Sure. So I think part of what's happening is an expression of a belated sort of sense of relief. I think, curiously enough, and I speak as a person who loathes running with a passion, people actually are discovering a strange love of, either the running or the endorphins that follow completing a run. And so lots of people are actually talking about becoming slightly addicted to running. And not only are they enjoying the act, they're also enjoying sort of the idea of perhaps doing doing the steeplechase, which is an event which traditionally the Grecians don't turn out for in huge numbers.
Sure. Well, I mean, that's great to hear. It may have sort of consequences in the longer term as well. So, I mean, just in financial terms, where do you estimate it'll finish up?
Well, we're in a very strange situation at the moment. If you look on our fundraising page at justgiving.com/Grecians East, you'll see that we originally set a target of £1,000.
Right.
Now, after 2 weeks of the project, we're well over £3,000. So I really feel that the sort of sky's the limit. I've begun to fantasise about buying the hospital some extraordinary piece of equipment. And we've got 1 or 2 plans in store, as I mentioned. The Miles for Miles idea is spreading out to other houses now. We've had a large number of donations from Old Blues, particularly members of Grecians East, and I'm hoping that if Grecians West get involved, all members of Grecians West will also get involved. We've also got a vague plan for merchandise. We were inspired to see that Miles was wearing a bandana, so we're going to try and produce a bandana for runners to wear on the day of the steeplechase. At the moment, that's a Grecians East sort of themed item, but again, we hope that others may buy that. And everyone in Grecians East has said that they'll buy a bandana when these are being produced by members of the house.
I'm sure we'll all look forward to all of that, and of course look forward to Miles' eventual return.
And that is the most important thing that we're, hoping for. I am not trying to say anything sort of morbid, but last year we lost a member of the house in very tragic circumstances, and I think for myself and my wife, it's really important to us that, in a sense, fate plays us a better hand this year, and we really anticipating Miles being back on site. Obviously, he lives here as well as coming to school here.
Yes, of course.
And perhaps coming back into the house next year.
Brilliant. Well, thanks a lot. And if there's anybody watching that is interested in donating anything, the link is on your screen now. I'm joined now by 2 of the most active participants in the Miles for Miles programme. It's Matt and Tilly. So each of you, tell us how many miles you've done and how you think the programme's going.
Well, I've done 31 miles so far in total.
How does that compare to what other people have been doing?
Well, it's pretty up there, I
Good.
think. Yeah. I did 10 miles yesterday. But yeah, I'm certainly up there somewhere. Certainly not the best, but certainly not the worst.
No, it's clearly very respectful from that. And Tilly?
I just got to 20 today, so I would say somewhere in the middle, but more just currently streaming ahead of everyone who's well over 50, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, it's going quite well.
So in financial terms, just tell us in a bit more detail how it works. Do you get sponsorship individually, or is there some general thing for how much people pay per mile that's run?
It seems to go sort of both ways. Like obviously we've got the Just Giving page, which people are donating whatever sort of sum they want to it, and then we also have some individual sponsors each, like a sort of like our parents who will sponsor us, like for example like £1 per mile that we do, or something.
Okay.
So yeah, it really varies.
Yeah, and there's the website where everyone pledges how much they want to give. And we've had, I think, about 117 pledges so far.
That's marvellous. I mean, that's really marvellous.
Yeah.
So, I mean, have you been surprised by how much it's taken off?
Yeah,
do you think?
really surprised.
Yeah.
Because Mr Walsh obviously put the target as 1,000 at
Yeah,
first,
so
and
I've
we all
heard,
thought
yeah.
that would be really great if we got to 1,000. But I think we're now somewhere on 2,700 and something. So
Goodness.
it's pretty impressive.
Brilliant. That's really brilliant. Okay, well, as I said at the end of the last interview, if you want to donate yourself, the link is now at the bottom of your page. Both of you, thank you very much indeed.